right now. I'm gonna give it another minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So um, what we're gonna do, guys, I'm gonna ask a I'm gonna leave it where it'll be a couple of questions. If you guys have some questions for Amie, you guys could ask her, afterwards, and you know I'll let her take care of all that and et cetera. And I guess I'll do the unless Ashley's in here, but I think she's in
You,
here.
I co-host me if you want. I can help.
Okay, cool, cool. Okay, let me
Sorry, I can help too. I just walked away.
okay,
Gotta
that's
get my
good.
glasses so I can see.
Okay, yeah. Ashley's my co-host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's my
Yep.
co-host. Okay. So, okay. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and get started, guys. So just kind of mute yourselves. Um, did I co-host you, Ashley? I
Yep,
didn't.
I'm gonna set it so everybody gets muted as they come in.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, guys. So again, appreciate you guys for hopping on. So as you can see right here, we've got the special guest, which is Amie. Guys, I want to tell y'all something. When I first came into this business, Amie was one of the people who I saw first, because it's crazy, because when I was doing life insurance, when I was joined this, I was working from 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at night. And I heard about her, working two jobs, and I'm over here, and I'll let her tell all that. But I was just like, it's good to know that there were people who were doing, whether it's a different type of job or a similar situation like you, and they were able to come on and be a part of the program and stuff. So, as you guys are familiar with Amie, she's had some really really good success. I'm excited to be in business with her. She's a great coach. She's a great mentor, and the fact that she's been able to take this business and follow this program and do what a lot of us want to do at the end of the day, which is get that time with your family, whether you want to stay at home or whatever it may be. So I don't want to spoil anything. I'm just grateful. Amie, again, appreciate you for taking out the time and coming and
Absolutely.
bless my community. So again, guys, I'm gonna let Amie. She can do whatever she want. And again, at the end when she's done, guys, if you have any questions for Amie, just raise your hand, and
Okay.
Ashley will unmute you, and Amie can answer any of your questions. So, Amie, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thanks, Darrell. You guys, I just want to say, Darrell's amazing, right? Just, in a group setting and one-on-one. And I call him my friend. I call him, my DGC buddy. Darrell and I both really know what it is to grind, and just to be really disappointed in ourselves because we always put those jobs before ourselves and our families. More than anything, all we really wanted at the end of the day was time, you know? And I think that I say this all the time, and I hate saying it all the time, but it's it's not always been about the money, right? And I say that because, guys, I made a damn good income. Okay. I left a six-figure job for this. Okay. When I say struggling, I mean I was struggling to put another kid in college, knowing she wanted to go to law school. I was struggling to fit all the pieces of the puzzle, trying to hold it all together. There's so many different struggles that we have. Yes, majority of us have dealt with financial struggles. I only had one, well, two incomes coming in, the two jobs that I was working. I got a divorce and I was left with those three kids. And I just thought that my life was going to be all about grinding. I was raised that way. That's what I was taught to do. And that's what I continue to do. And then I'll be honest with you. Here's what happened is that 50 was creeping up on me. And I took a quick look back at my life and I said, my God, what have I done? All I've done is worked. And that really hit me hard. I really had to ask myself, why have I always put these jobs a priority? And why have I chose, because it is a choice, to put those jobs before your own kids. See, we have that scarcity mindset that if we tell them no, or we say, I am going to take this vacation, my kids come first, then we may get fired. We may lose that money that pays our bills. And they know that. Let's just be real here. They freaking know it, right? But when I went through this mindset shift that I deserved better, that my children deserved better, I wanted to be the mom that took all the kids to the basketball tournament, to the volleyball tournament. And I had 3 kids that played sports year round. And I was trying to do this between all these jobs and everything else, right? When I started this program, yes, initially it was, of course, I need to make some extra money because the only way I can get that time freedom was to literally quit at least one of those jobs. I gave myself a few years. I said, I don't know nothing about the online world, right? My daughter had just created this TikTok for me to watch her and her volleyball team do these dances. And I said, just do what you got to do, put me on there, and then I can watch your videos. I had no clue how TikTok worked, but I seen one video of Michelle's and it blew my mind. And it was like I was getting the answer I was looking for. Like maybe this is it. Maybe. And then I went, oh God, no, I don't even know what this TikTok thing is and how can I make money on it and all the things, right? So here I am. I'm stuck in that job that was already such a thorn in my side until I got fed up. Until I got sick of passing my daughter in the hallway to the next job. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I was mentally fried. My body couldn't take anymore after 18 hours a day for 3 years straight, you guys. I couldn't take another day of it. So I took the last bit of money I had put away and I said, you know what? I'm investing in me. I'm going to try it. That's all I can do. Did I ever think in my wildest freaking dreams that it would do and happen as quickly as it did for me? Absolutely not. But the one thing I can tell you guys is from day one, I just poured my heart into it. I didn't overthink it. I didn't get into the numbers of it. I just did exactly what that video told me to do. And I was working, literally leaving my house no later than like 4 a.m. every day and not getting home until sometimes midnight every single day. And I'm fitting this new venture in between it all, right? So when I hear people say, I don't got time, I can't do this, I have kids, I have this, I have that. Are you kidding me? I know you have time. I know people have time to try this, to just follow the training and do it. I know there's time for it because you will quickly realize when you want something bad enough, you will find that time to do it. Whether it's a 5-minute break, walking to the bathroom and creating a video, which I did hundreds of, taking a 15-minute break and stepping outside of my office to create 2 videos really quick and put them in drafts, I did it. If I could only jump on a 30, 20-minute Zoom, that's all I had, I did it. Every time I was in the car, I was listening to a training, driving. You know, there was no minute that passed by that I didn't put this business into it. Okay. So literally, and I'm going to share this with you guys. I don't share it very often, but the first 5 weeks into this, right, I started making money fairly quickly and it blew me away. I just, you guys, I didn't even think it was real for the first couple of weeks. I'm like, the bottom's going to fall out of this. Like, this is somehow not going to be real, right? This is too good to be true. Within 5 weeks, I was able to quit my nights, weekends, holidays. I was waitressing, right? And then about a week and a half after I quit that, I was getting my nights back and my weekends back. My oldest son, got put in ICU. Super sick. Okay. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to make it. I didn't know anything. And my job pretty much told me I had to make a decision if I wanted to be at the hospital or I wanted to do my job. That was the first time in my life as a mom that I pretty much told them, F you. I could choose my children this time. At that point, I had made, I think, 16,000 in just like 6 weeks, right? It was mind-boggling. So I called Michelle and I'm like, this just happened. And she's like, I can't tell you what to do. She said, but what I'm seeing, this is just the beginning for you. And with that little bit, I took it and I said, you know what? And I handed in my 2 weeks notice the next morning. I can't even tell you guys what it felt like as a parent to go, I get to choose my kids first. And I think, even if you're not a parent, I think that you still understand what I'm getting at. You get to put yourself first and make a decision not based on that employment, on that paycheck. And it was such a relief to me, right? So at 10 and a half weeks, I was able to walk away from both of those jobs. I had made, I don't know, almost 30,000 at that point. And it just was coming in every day. It was just happening, happening, happening. And now I'm working from home and I can just pour all into it. I can learn more, add more, do all the things. And I am not kidding you guys. I have just literally followed the training that's been given. The same one you have access to. That's all I've done. Nothing extra, nothing special. I've just followed the trainings. I would say the biggest thing for me is that I didn't worry about the small stuff, right? Sorry, I almost cussed there, but I didn't worry about the small stuff. I didn't worry about the numbers. I didn't worry about the views. I didn't worry about all that stuff. I just created the content and I posted it. I just got on every single flipping Zoom that was being given to me. I made it a point that every single day I showed up for this business, just like I did for those jobs, right?
Thanks.
That's it. That's it. But what I think the biggest thing is I've never lost that. No matter how much money I've made, no matter whatever, I've always just kept it simple. I don't overcomplicate it. I don't overthink it. I just, okay, I need to do A, B, and I'll get to C. And not putting that pressure on myself. And I see so many people putting so much pressure on themselves, overthinking it. I've got to do this and I've got to be just like this person. No, you just be you. Just tell your damn story. That's all you need to do. I know that me using the word simple, you're over there going, yeah, it's not that simple. Well, it can be. We just got to get out of our own ways because we all know we can be our own worst enemy, right? All of our own stuff we got to work through. And I've had to work through a lot. Let me tell you, I still do every day. But I've learned so much, not only from the trainings, but from individual people and saying, you know what? I'm not alone in this. And neither are you. We've all gone through stuff, you guys. We've all been there. But it's our time now. And this is going to help you get that. So kind of fast forward it. 9 months in, I hit my first six figures. I just I couldn't believe it. I just, guys, I don't even count. I don't even know. I can't tell you. I know I've made well over 350,000. Could be 400,000, 500, 600. I don't know. I haven't done my taxes yet. I'll know then, but I don't check my bank account. I don't check my stuff all the time. I have like five different accounts that I have, and I don't check them. I know I can pay my bills. I know if one of my kids says, Mom, I need some money for this, I can give it to him. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I don't need to count every dime. That's not important to me. You know, my daughter took me to the airport. My daughter picked me up from the airport. I mean, it's stuff like that that means more to me than any dollar sign any day of the week, right? So fast forward from the 9 months, I think it was a little over a year in, I hit my second six figures, and then in a year and a half by I hit my third six figures, and it's just piling on and piling on and piling on. But what I realized very quickly, you guys, and I want you to hear me when I say this, okay? You have to have a vision, okay? You got to know that you've got to continually think about what's next, right? What's next? What am I going to be doing after I start learning the skills? Okay. Promoting those 4 digital products is going to teach you those skills, but what else? Like Darrell, like myself, we have affiliates. We want to do this, we want to do that, we do coaching. These are all additional ways for you to just keep adding to your business. And these are things you should have a vision for. I pretty much every 3 months add something new to my business. And I knew it would be imperative to it. So think about that. What's your passion? What would you love to do? And kind of say, okay, well, in the next 3 to 6 months, I would like to add this. I would love to do that. Even if it's Darrell and I were just talking about a small ticket offer, I'm going to be launching just a little ebook. I'm only going to charge like $19 or $29 for it. It's going to be packed with information, but it's a low ticket offer. It's something that can add an additional revenue stream, and that is going to be imperative to your business. Just keep doing it, right? Keep going, keep going. I've got 17 streams of income, you guys. My God, TikTok pays me once a month. And I didn't even know how to make a video. You see what I'm saying? There's so many different ways to make money online. You need to start grabbing onto those. Grabbing on. How do I do it? What do I need to do? Always be thinking outside the box about what else you can do. So here I sit in front of you, right? And I got my time back. I got my financial freedom, but in my heart of hearts, more than anything, I've always been the giver anyway, right? I give, 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 give. But when I get to see that I can help other people, that is the biggest payout for me.
Yep.
And I know Darrell's the same way, right? Like that, just seeing that one little light bulb go off for somebody, or seeing that one person going and posting that first video or going live for the first time. Those are the little things that make me happy every day and keep me going. And I know that that's so big for so many people, right? Is to help others, whatever niche you're in, if it's stay-at-home moms or it's retirees or whatever it is, just helping them. When you start helping, it's always going to come back to you in one way or another. It always will. And it's just been amazing. I mean, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just love your I remember the first time when I got inside the community, I had heard Amie on a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about how she worked 18 hours a day. And I was still doing life insurance, and I was already in the program, but I was still, and see what a lot of people don't know, not people, many people know this. So when I joined this program, I didn't immediately quit doing life insurance, right? I didn't officially quit doing life insurance until March the 1st because I joined on January the 15th, and from January the 15th to January the 31st in 2 weeks. Now you got to think I wasn't on TikTok. I didn't have no huge following. I was just sharing a little bit of it in my Facebook stories, but I still made $5,000. And it's like Amy said, like for me, I was shocked because I wasn't expecting to make 5,000. I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week welding, and never made $5,000 in a week ever. And so my next month, I just started zoning in on Michelle was always talking about the 2 hour work that you got to master this. You got to master this. But I remember when I was still doing life insurance. So I was working life insurance. I was doing this and I was still promoting like two little affiliate marketing programs where I was making like 17% commission, like $12 or something like that. But I remember being on a train, one of the first Zooms I got on, Amie was telling me she worked 18 hours a day. And I'm just over here thinking like, what in the like 18 hours? Like because I was working 12 hours and like I said, well, I would be like, wait, like I'd pull up at someone's house and let's say had a 1 o'clock appointment and it was like 12:45. I would be in the training. I'd be watching videos. I would make me a video. I would make me a video. But it wasn't until March because in February I made 8,000. And I told my wife, I remember telling her wife, I was like, hey, I remember telling my wife, I said, babe, I want to quit this job. Now I've been doing life insurance for 2 years. I said, I want to quit this. And she was just like, oh, are you sure? What if this don't like, sometimes how women can be sometimes. But anyway,
Of course.
she was like, oh, I'm like, look, if I can, because I felt like I was already on the trajectory. And I was like, if
Right.
I can just spend more time learning this, because I'm wasting 8 hours driving all across Tennessee helping people with burial coverage, right? I said, if I can just spend more time, like really get zoned in on the training, really get on the mentoring calls, the webinars, and really understand what this program does and what it offers and how I can help people, I can really scale. And so March the 1st is when I quit. I just like, I didn't have no other choice then. I zoned in and March, even to this date, is still my biggest month. I made almost 40 grand in March. And it just, like I said, you don't understand. It don't seem like, and it's different for everybody. If you would have told me I was going to make that, I would have, listen, I was just trying to make an extra $1,000 to keep my wife's car from getting repoed because it was about to get repoed because we were 4.5 months behind on it. But you just never know. And again, just being yourself. And I'm gonna tell you guys, this is the crazy part. I remember one time I was talking to Michelle and she was like, she said, how long is it taking you to create content? I said, well, and this was like when I first started. I was like, well, I catch myself having to start over, so like 6, 7 times before I'm creating my videos. And she's like, well, you're just in your head. And, she said, you just got to talk from the heart and share your story. And that's all I started doing. I was like, okay, look here. Because I'm gonna tell you what I did. My first video, I was really trying to like wing it, like as if I'm talking on a teleprompter. And I was just like, okay, that don't even sound like me. You ever recorded yourself and played yourself back? You're like, okay, I don't know who that is, but that's not me. So I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna be who I am because nobody can be you better than you. And I said, I'm just gonna share with them what kind of issues I was having. And that's just
Yeah.
what I try to work on. I got better at. And guys, I'm telling you, when you start doing that, you're just like I said, I won't even worry about the money, but it'll just start taking care of itself because you'll start talking about things in your story that people can relate to, experiences that they've been through, and boom, man, it just kind of takes off, and you just get better. The better you are.
Well, yeah, and like I was saying, I didn't have no time to edit. I didn't know how to edit, but I didn't have no time to edit. And I knew that that would just take too long. So I did the videos, messy,
Yeah,
stupid, like, I mean, crazy video. I just did them.
yeah,
Like I looked like a dummy on there, but I didn't care
yeah,
because I knew I had to get them out there and I wasn't going to mess around trying to figure out how to even edit it anyway. Right. But in hindsight, I'm glad I did it that way because how I create content now is not through ChatGPT. I do not sit and edit for hours. All I do is when I'm triggered by something and
right.
I feel it in my heart, whatever it is, I immediately pick up my phone and hit record.
That's the way to do it.
Immediately. And I think that that's kind of been a saving grace for me because I didn't get into the whole minutia of editing and making it perfect and taking out all the O's and the ums, right? So, yeah, I that's just how I create content
And
and
the,
it works,
and
you
the good
know.
part about it is when you create content like that, you're already in an emotion, like you feel some type of
Right.
way. So it's easy to create it because you already kind of know you're in the mindset of knowing already what you want to talk about. And this is why everything just flows so like smooth because like you already have a topic that's already psychologically in your mind that you want to talk about, whether it's something that's why I always keep a notepad on
Yep.
all the webinars, even on these trainings. It doesn't matter because sometimes a person can be saying something and it'll just give me a thought about how to create some content, right?
Yep.
And I'll write it down, and that's the best way to create content. But you just got to just throw yourself out there because the more you do it, the better you're going to get because nobody knows you're messing up. But
Absolutely. And that's why I continue to just do it that way because I know darn well it's not going to be scripted. It's going to sound like me because it is me.
yeah,
And whatever it is, whether it's triggered meaning mad or sad or happy or whatever, it still triggers me in some way, you know? So I think a lot of people tend to miss that part of it, which in combination with your story builds that connection with people. And the connection is everything.
yes,
Oh,
and I'll say this: when you're speaking from the heart, whether you're doing it messy, you just
yep.
come across so relatable because they know that it's genuine, it's from you. I always tell people when you create content, when you play it back, ask yourself, does that sound like me? Do I feel like I'm speaking freely? Do I feel like I'm pressing? Or do I feel like my cheeks are tight and I feel like I'm like like I'm forcing it? If you are, then that means you're not even being yourself. You have to just talk in your verbiage, your language, because you're going to attract your type of people.
Yep.
They're not gonna be like, oh, he's talking funny or she's talking. No, no, guys, they're gonna relate to you because they're not even thinking about how you talk. All they were concerned about is what you're saying that's touching them because they're experiencing that they can relate to that. That's the only thing they care about, you know?
And I think the big thing is that we get so busy into the training of it that we forget
Yep.
where we were, right? What were we feeling before we purchased? How big was our struggle? What brought us here? And so when we start talking about our past struggles and pains and all that stuff, and then we start putting it on they're going,
Wow.
he's been there. He knows. She is exactly where I'm at right now. So who better to teach me than her or him, right?
That's facts. And that's what I've been telling my community. People relate to live experiences. All you got to do is share why did you purchase the program?
Yeah.
What made you pull out your debit card or credit card and pay $900 or 600? What was going on in your life? They need to hear you say those things, those experiences, those obstacles, the things you didn't like. So because they really think they're the only people that's dealing with this stuff. And when they hear you say it, they're gonna be like, oh shoot, like I'm not by myself. Like I can really relate to her. I'm dealing, and then you're gonna talk about this program, this blueprint. They're going to ask you for information because they can relate to you now. They feel like they know you know how they feel, right? And that's the big thing. But it's like you said, Amie, a lot of times a lot of people we can get like just overly inside the training and be robotic and forget that you just gotta loosen up and just talk like you're talking to your a sibling of yours or one of your kids or a good friend of yours. Like,
Yeah.
just your tonality just has to be like as if you're talking like I'm talking, like it's just gotta be you. And
Yeah.
because if people can sense your energy through the
Well, not only that, but I mean, let's be real, right? We see videos every day of other people, and you're like, man, that sounds like a commercial.
exactly.
Like you can tell it's freaking scripted. And it's like, well, why? I'm not going to connect to a script. I'm not. I'm
No,
just not, right? And so that's why it's so important that we're not scripted. It's gotta give that specific, I always say this, give that specific example of that pain point or problem that you've been through. And then let them ask you questions about it if they need to.
Important.
That's going to build that connection you need. Yeah,
The connection is going to come through the pain. They don't
abs
care about the product. They don't care about what you're promoting. They all the customer, all only thing they care about is the problems that they're having, and they're looking for solutions. And they want to
absolutely.
hear you. They're experiencing the same thing you've experienced. That's why you purchased. They're experiencing those same things. They need to hear you
Absolutely.
talk about those so they can. But
Absolutely. And I remember like my very first sale, right? I literally had an hour lunch every day from my main job, and I would drive 5 minutes up the road and I would go live for 45 minutes every day, right? That was my only lunch break in an 18-hour day. And I chose to go live every single day in my car. And I had like a little piece of cardboard and I would hold it up. Like, I can't make this shit up, you guys. I would hold it up and I would talk about the programs in my car for 45 minutes. I no more drove right down the road, stopped and got a beef and bean burrito, and I'm headed back to my office. And my phone made a funny ding, and I didn't know what it was because it didn't sound like you just got a call or a text. I looked down and it was for $600.
crazy.
And I was like, there's no way. So I did a video because I was in the emotion.
Yep.
Like, this isn't real. So I made that first video out in my parking lot, getting ready to walk into my office. And I'm like, I didn't know if this was really going to work. Here it is. Here's the proof, you know? But again, in emotion, I
Yep.
shared that part of me. It was a happy part of me, but also to teach people that it can work for them too.
Absolutely. So I want to ask you this, Amy, before we
Yeah,
get again,
yeah,
I appreciate you for taking out the time and coming here and
absolutely.
bless us. So I just want to ask you a question. So, because I know there's a lot of people inside of this community who work long hours, from
Yep.
nursing to factory working to landscaping to everything. And a lot of times people are like, well, I don't have time, I work and this and that. So you being someone who's worked 18 hours a day and you were still able to get your income producing activities done by
Yep.
whatever means necessary.
Yep.
So for people here who may be working a 9 to 5 and they're like, well, maybe they're not 100% sold on, maybe they're procrastinating or whatever it may
Sure.
be. What kind of advice could you give them as far as like, yeah, I know you work a 9 to 5, but you know,
Yeah.
what type of advice could you give them, people who are working a 9 to 5 like you were? They probably weren't working
Yep.
18 hours per day, but
Sure.
what could you tell them?
Well, here's a couple little pieces of advice. Write it down if you want. But one thing that I did early on, okay, is I literally grabbed just a little notebook, right? And I wrote down Monday, 3 a.m. to midnight. And I just, at the end of every night, I kind of wrote down my schedule for 7 days. And then I looked it over and I said, oh, whoa, okay, I've got 35 minutes here. I've got 45 minutes here. And I looked at it over a 7 day, right? So I kind of knew the little parts where I could do things.
Good.
And it works, right? It does help you, especially if you want to find a time to go live as well. I recommend doing that if you're in a situation now where you're not finding that balance, right? But more than anything, I was really my eyes were open to downtime, if that makes sense. So instead of sitting down and watching Netflix, I replaced that with watching a replay.
Gotcha.
So I found those little nooks and crannies, even if it was 5 minutes, literally from one part of my office to the bathroom. I was recording a video and just throwing it in drafts. Any time I had 5-10 minutes, I just did it.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, because I didn't have a block of 2 hours, right? So in the mornings when I got up, you guys, that was the biggest time block that I had before I had to leave for work. I was checking emails, answering emails, checking my social media. And then throughout the day, I was fitting that in as well in 5 and 10 minute increments, right? When I started going live, I only went live 45 minutes to 50 minutes because that was my only lunch hour. And I fit it in. I sacrificed, and you can too. You're just not choosing to. Let's be honest, right? Got to be real with you. You have the time, no matter how busy you are. You do.
Yeah, anytime a person can sacrifice their lunchtime,
Yeah.
like you got to be serious. And that's what it takes. Really in the beginning. A lot of time in the beginning, you're gonna work harder than you ever will, because you got to fail forward and get it out. And you have to, that's how only way you're gonna learn is and break the ice. And then, because once you learn that, then the back end won't be as hard. That's why creating content now for me is just so easy now, because I know who I'm talking to. I know all the hard things I've experienced, and I know my audience is going through the same things right now, right?
Yep.
So I can talk specifically through to them, like as if I'm talking to my son or my brother or
Yeah.
something like that. But again, like you said, when I was doing life insurance in the beginning, when I would pull up to someone's house and I had about 10, 15 minutes, either I was in a training or I'd make me a quick, and I was making videos, they were like 3 minutes, and I realized that, okay, this is way too long, right?
Yeah.
And this is just all trial and error. You just learn until you get it down. So,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
anyway, again, Amie, I appreciate you. I don't want to keep you long. We have a couple of questions here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm open. I got time. Let's go. Let's do it.
Uh, Go ahead,
All right,
Ashley.
here we go. We're gonna go with Maria first.
All right. Hey,
You'll have a
Maria.
button pop up, Maria, that says to unmute.
Hi,
Hey, Maria. How are you?
back, darling. It's been so lovely seeing you guys. That Michelle was amazing,
Yeah,
amazing, and
Michelle
thank
drove
you for
me.
doing that.
Yeah,
Thank you for
Michelle
doing
drove
this
me to the
live.
airport yesterday. Yeah.
And yeah, a little reflection, like because what I was actually like, you were talking about what was triggering you, the moments, yeah. And most of the time, inside the shower or before bed for me. Like, and I actually want, like, I script something, but then I was like, no, okay, this is not, and I'm not recording it, but I have so much. I have them in my mind, and I wasn't putting and I think I'm now, like, after this, because, like, just do it, girl. Just go and do it,
Well,
because
and what happened?
it just like, I don't, like, I scripted. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Maybe echo or something.
I don't know. There was a weird noise. No, what I was going to say is sometimes if you ponder on something, if you think too much on something on a video, it just gets to be too much and you get overwhelmed with it, right?
Yeah.
So if you follow kind of what I was talking about, you don't got time. You don't got time to think about it or stress about it or whatever. You're literally hitting the button and recording right then and there when it's just coming from here.
Yeah.
So there's no pressure, right? And it does make a difference. It really does. I challenge each of you guys to do it that way. Try it, because you're going to take a lot of pressure off yourself to make it perfect. And those are the ones that connect with people, not the perfect ones. Guaranteed.
Okay. And the second thing, it was about the vision. It was very important to say, you saying, yeah, you need to have a vision. You need to go to know where you are going.
Yes.
And I think for me, that one was the biggest problem, because I didn't have a vision.
Yep.
I didn't grow up having a vision, like I didn't, and I'm building it. I'm building it step by step with all the challenges and everything. And I don't know if what, like, my vision is too big, like what I
Nothing is
wanted
too big.
to go, because
Nothing is
I
too
feel
big.
I'm called, like, I really want everything, like I really want to become a public speaker. I really want to
Good.
impact people. I really want to have an amazing partner relationship. I want to be able to have moments like you guys were able to live there, because that one is
See, and that thought needs
amazing.
to be there every single day. And every single day, and everything you do every day is leading to that.
Yeah.
You got to remember that. And it's always got to be there with you, whether it's a year from now or 5 years from now. I got to do this to get to that. This is
It's
going to help
something
me move forward.
it's something inside me that even only thinking, like, my journey, it wasn't like I lost my job. I was trying to build the coaching program. I didn't know what I was doing when I came across this program that actually gave me the direction, was
Yeah.
it was blowing it blew my mind, because I was like, oh my goodness, everything I
Yeah.
needed is here right now. And it's been a gift from my friend. It
Yeah.
was a gift, was like, oh. And yeah, so my worry was like, I'm having like too big, thinking too big,
Never,
having a vision that is too big. So no.
never, 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 never. It just means you're gonna might have to take a couple extra steps to get there, but don't skip the steps. Keep going. Keep going. That's all you got to do. You'll get there. You will.
Okay, let's do this together. Thank you
Yes,
for all
absolutely.
these, guys. Love you. You know that so
Of
much.
course. Of course.
All right, next we have Viola.
Viola. Wait a
Okay.
minute. Let me say something real quick, Viola. Basil, you're giving your notice today? Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Love it.
Can you?
Love it. Yeah, Viola. I just
Can
wanted to point that out.
Yes,
That's
that's
what I'm
amazing.
saying.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Yes. Keep us posted.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say that absolutely we all have time, and it's just the time management, because we all have those 15 minutes, and it's just the question what we're gonna do during those 15 minutes. Are we gonna watch the news? Are we gonna watch Netflix? Are we gonna scroll on social medias, right?
Yeah.
Because I will never forget it. I was living in the US, and I had this friend, and she had like 20 minutes between like the end of her job, and she had to be home, to pick up her daughter like from school. And she was going to the gym for 20 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. She had a plan. So again, it's the question of having the right time management, and even blocking the time and doing it imperfect, because you know what? Otherwise, it never happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. And I've, worked with some people that, couldn't just figure it out, right? So what we did is tore apart their schedule. And I says, well, when you're going at 6 a.m. every morning, and you're like, one lady was working out at a gym before she went to her job. I'm like, okay, do you listen to music while you're working out? She's like, oh yeah, I've got a whole playlist. I'm like, why aren't you listening to replays? She's like, I never even thought of it. I said, well, what about when you're in your car driving to work? What are you listening to? Well, music. Why aren't you putting on a Zoom?
Yeah.
Like those little things, an hour and a half, you just got out of the way while you were already doing something else, right? So there's always, yes, always time when you're doing something to implement it. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
10 minutes is better than zero, right?
Absolutely.
Because
100%.
it adds up. Like if you do it every day, 10 minutes, you have 70 minutes per week. It's better than nothing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. Yes, you bet, honey.
All right. I usually save me for last, Amie. So I
Oh,
get
come on,
everybody.
girl.
I put everybody first and then I go last. So we are gonna bring up, and I hope he's gonna share Basil. However, I never know how to say his name. I call him Basil because I like basil. He doesn't
Right?
like basil. All right, here comes the button for you. Oops, I just muted him by accident. There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I lost the picture.
Swipe one
I'm
way.
coming, guys. I'm coming. I'm coming.
We can see you, or I can see you.
There we go. Okay. I just want to say, first of all, thank you guys for all you do.
Absolutely.
I've been going back and forth with this for a while now, over a year. Actually, my anniversary date is today, as a matter of fact, or tomorrow.
Ooh, I love it.
And I've tried so much as to peacetime here and peacetime there. My day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes I don't get home until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
And even when I try to squeeze those little bit of minutes here, there's too much background noise. There's
sure,
always an interruption.
sure.
It's just made it so impossible for me to actually squeeze time to get this done. I'm also a deacon at the church, so there's a lot of responsibilities with that.
Sure.
I'm going to be 60 years old next Sunday. And the way that I've been going for all of these years, it just does not work. My wife and I told her the other day, I've been doing this for a year, and the feather on the cap to me was when I took the certification.
Yeah,
I didn't even know I was just following along. I didn't even know that was going to happen, and I got scared and I was going to back out. I said, "No, what? I'm going to do this." And when it said that I passed, I realized I do know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I try to stay as much as I can within this community because
yeah,
the people outside within my surroundings have no idea about this.
yeah,
And I get tired of the negative talk. When they see me listening, okay, and studying and taking notes, it's always an interruption.
yeah,
When it's time to do a video, I'm doing a haircut, there's noise. It
yeah.
just can't happen. The reason why I've decided this is that the time has always been an issue.
Yep.
Now my health is becoming an issue. And nothing has changed last year to this year, the year before to now, and it just doesn't change. I'm ripping the
Yeah.
band-aid off with you guys' help day by day. We're
Get it.
gonna make this happen. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there just like this. Everybody knows, ripping off the band-aid. Here I come.
And here's something I want to leave with you just real quickly is that it's your time. You're due. And it's there for you, right? That's the biggest thing. We don't think that we deserve it, right? Because we need to keep grinding. We need to keep paying the bills. We need to keep doing all the things that we've been doing. We forget about us. We forget who we are. We lost ourselves along the way somewhere.
Yep.
So I love to see and hear what you're saying right now because you just brought you back. You remembered who you were. So good luck to you.
And not only that,
I love it.
when you do that, when you make that type of decision, you know
Absolutely.
that you've got to show up now.
Yep.
So you hold yourself to an account of you hold yourself to a standard, like
Yep.
you know that you have to really get locked in, right? You have to show up. You got to be on the calls. You got to be like you got to absorb everything. You have to really put that foot first. And that's the beauty about it. I think that's something a lot of people are afraid of. Like they feel like, when if they were to do that, it'd be like trying to swim and you don't know how to swim and you're in somebody throw you in the lake or somebody push you in the water. You don't have you don't know how to swim, so you feel like you're
The
gonna
life vest,
yeah.
somebody's gonna throw
So,
you the buoy, right?
but I'm just convinced, man, everybody has a superpower. I
Oh,
just believe in
amen.
my I think everybody has it, and a lot of time these what jobs do they keep us stuck because
And
it's a safety net, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
but yeah, and I ask my community this all the time, Darrell. I'm like, aren't you done sacrificing?
yeah,
Aren't you done always putting yourself last?
yeah,
Because when you get to that point, that's when you say enough is enough, and I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm just not. I can't keep sacrifice. I got so sick of it. I got to that point. I just couldn't do it anymore, you know? And I think once you get to that point and you really acknowledge it, that's when things start to happen for you. I really do.
I do too. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I believe in
Um,
you, brother.
so
All right.
Ashley,
We
what you got,
have,
sister? Are you
you want
gonna
me to?
talk?
I can talk. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, one, thank you for sharing about your son, because if this program was around when just about the same thing happened to me, so I am a mom to a adult daughter, she's 20 with special needs.
Hmm.
When she was younger and getting diagnosed and through all of that, I worked for a TV station, which I was super proud of because I'm a high school dropout. The position I had, they wanted you to have a college degree.
Right.
And I said I had a high school diploma. They never asked for it. So what the heck? What they don't know
Yeah.
doesn't kill them, right? And my daughter at the time was going to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia every 2 months. And I got called into the station manager's office and I was told that my job was my priority and I needed to find other means for my daughter. And if I could have quit right then and there having something like this, I would have,
Mhm.
but I couldn't. But I had a plan like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm hauling butt for 3 months, putting in a savings, whether I have a job or not afterwards, I'm out. Well, within that 3 months, they actually ended up trying to get me fired. And
Oh,
HR called me and was like, hey, this is what they're trying to do. What is going on with you calling off with your daughter? And I let them know. And I said, the station manager knows, my supervisor knows. And she's like, this is under the
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Family Leave Act thingy,
Yeah.
whatever. So
FMLA.
she actually saved my butt from getting fired before my plan. And I'm just like sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, like if I would have had this, I would have totally done what you did,
Yep.
because nobody will tell me that my daughter is like, I need to find other means for her. You know what I mean? Um,
Yep.
Especially pretty much bringing her up since I was 5 months pregnant. Like that
Yeah.
is literally my life. Like I like to call myself a professional at it by now
Yeah.
because it has been happening. Um, but I know I had a call with Darrell to try to figure out my story. And we everybody asks you, why did you start? And
Right.
I literally shotgun bought this. Okay. I saw Ashley Cox on my FYP and I was just scrolling through TikTok
Yeah.
because all I used to do was shop on it, right?
Right.
And she was talking, and literally within 20 minutes, I bought it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know what I'm getting into, but I know what I have right now is not working because I'm part of an MLM. And this has completely, in just 3 months, has changed. And then yesterday, like people, when we have those legacy builder calls
Yeah.
and people hop off before the breakout rooms, like
Yeah.
that just blows my mind, right?
Right.
Crazy.
So yesterday I literally had that breakthrough of who am I really talking to?
Yeah.
Because when I talked to Darrell, like I brought up about living paycheck to paycheck and all that, but in reality, like if I can still take my kid out to dinner during the week, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, Ashley,
But
and also you got to remember your why changes as you
yeah,
go along too,
Yep.
right? It'll always be the main, but you're adding more whys, right? It's
yeah,
it's the trips now. It's the, so
yeah.
that's good too, right?
So now like yesterday I realized like I'm that special needs mom that so many people come to for travel tips,
Mhm.
wanting to know where like the services out here in Arizona. And here in Arizona, we're in a huge, huge issue with the state and funding for my daughter's services,
Mhm.
which I was like, that is it. Because I mean, I'm 43, so I feel like half my life is over. I have nothing set up financially for my daughter because I know I'm not going to live forever. And that is because I know I'm not the only mom that does not have their future set up for their kid yet.
Right.
And that if my daughter loses services next month or the end of this month, I want to be able to still provide for them and
Right.
pay, not rely on the state funded programs in
Right.
order for her to thrive and excel and become that
Right.
independent adult. So, like, yesterday, I was like, holy bananas, like, this is what happened. And that was all because of the breakout room. And then
Right.
when people were talking about it, that's when it all started coming into fruition. And like yesterday, yeah, did I take a day off of TikTok? Yes, but I still posted on my Facebook because I'm like, I need to take my words, and my friend Rebecca's on here, so she knows how I talk. And I needed to, like, now I'm going to be able to really talk to people and not
Right.
sit there. Like I tell Darrell, I'm like, I can make one heck of a blooper video with when I'm doing my videos
Well, and
and
part of
cutting
that,
things out.
Ashley, is because you're trying to have a little bit of perfectionism going on there with
Yeah.
a chat GPT kind of commercially stuff, right? As I say. But the biggest thing is when you start getting in your heart and you're talking about the things that motivate you,
Yeah.
you're going to cut out all that other stuff,
Yeah.
right? And just remember this, and I say this all the time, we kind of stop remembering that that we're not out here to go and find people to buy from us. We just need to tell our story. They will find us.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
From your heart,
Yeah.
tell your story, what you're passionate about. In my community, I did a little thing with them where I asked them a couple questions.
Working jobs just got
Oh,
you nowhere.
sorry, I muted you, Amie. I meant to mute Darrell. He was playing a TikTok and it was there
Okay,
you go.
okay. So I had my community do this little thing, and one of the questions I asked was, what is your superpower? What are you known for? What drives your passion? And they wrote down all these things. And I said, now implement that into your content.
Yeah.
So
I think
your passion will help you create that content that needs to connect with people.
Yeah. And I finally figured that out. Like, it's not the living the paycheck to paycheck. It's not just
Right.
being broke. It is literally helping other special needs parents because
Right.
we tend to always put ourselves last because we feel as though we need to take care of our kids first. But in reality, the best way to take care of our kids first is putting us first
Mhm.
and giving them our best version of ourselves
Yep.
to be able to take care of them. So that's why I was like, I was mind blown yesterday. My heart was racing. And I was like, this is it. And then
Yep.
yesterday I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a break from TikTok today. I'm going to just go on my Facebook and I'm going to roll with this and
Yep.
talk to those other special needs parents because I know
Yep.
they are struggling. I know they're stressing right now that their kids could possibly lose services at the end of this month. And
Mhm.
then who knows if they'll start in the next fiscal year because
Well,
they're
and
still battling that. So
here's another little tip, and this goes for anybody, whatever, your why is. Look, every video doesn't have to be about being a special needs mom, right?
mhm,
You can always reference yourself in any other video. As a special needs mom, I struggled X, Y, and Z, right?
yeah,
So by just referencing it, you're still going to connect with that mom or that
yeah,
dad. So
yep.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, I'll put my hand down and then we're gonna go to Miss Wanda.
Hi, Wanda.
Hello. Hi, Amy.
How are
Oh,
you, babe?
I am fantastic. And I just want you to know that you were part of the reason why I bought.
Oh, I love to hear
I
that. That's
I
awesome.
saw Crystal. That's
Uh-huh.
who under. But then as I was on TikTok, I think I saw you doing an interview or something, and I tried to find you because I wanted to talk to you and ask you about it,
Yeah.
but mean, I know that you hide stuff so people can't bother you, which was fine.
There's like 100 fakes of me.
I know. So it took me a while to actually find your legitimate one.
Oh
So
gosh, yeah.
yeah. So now what I'm doing actually, and other people, you can take this little advice, is that when you find the real person on TikTok, change their name.
Yeah.
So for Darrell, I changed his name from Darrell Hannah to Legacy Builder. So I
Oh,
know
that's
that if I'm
cool.
communicating with him, it's him. And then other people, I put the real Amie Nicole,
Oh, I
the
love
real.
that. That's a great idea.
And so that has really helped with all those goofs out there that are not who they're supposed to be.
Oh
But
man.
what I want to say is that I actually started, I used to script my stuff as well.
Yeah.
In the last week or so, when I get a thought, I make a draft.
Good.
And there's times 2, 3 in the morning, I'll be sleeping and then I'll wake up with a thought of like a really cool content and I'll just get up and make a draft.
Yep.
Because I try to remember it the next morning, it's gone. It's gone. I can't
Absolutely.
even remember. But I'm loving this journey. I've been on it since February 26th of this year.
Wonderful.
And a funny thing is that yesterday in the breakout rooms, I had an aha moment.
Mhm.
And, we hear it a million times, but it just doesn't resonate until it's supposed to. And who's my perfect customer? It's me.
Absolutely. It is
And
100% you.
and then I started changing my content a little bit. And now in 3 days from changing the content, I went from, I think, 8 in my email list to 430.
That's
I haven't had a conversion yet, but I am starting to have people engage with me in
that's
my
great.
comments. So now what I'm doing is I'm acknowledging them in my next video. I'm
That's
acknowledging that they're
yeah.
talking to me
And
and
through
that
newsletters, that'll be another way too to love on them,
yeah,
Absolutely, 100%. And now that you really feel and know,
yeah,
right, who your perfect customer is, that's all you can do. Nobody can tell your story like you tell your story,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the most important part.
So my story kind of has a twofold. I am an empty nester, but
Mhm.
I was also working for a company, a national company that supplied palliative care equipment for end of life, but also special needs equipment. I was the coordinator of that who had to send out that equipment and get it picked up. I walked into work in August last year and was told my position was no longer required. So they dumped the load of what I was doing onto the second person behind me, just
Mhm.
because she had a little bit more qualifications than me, but I started before her. So they bumped me. But now I found out that the load was too much for her. So now they've had to hire somebody now to help her.
Yeah.
I had somebody comment on a video that I made of exactly that. And I want to call her out and thank her for her being concerned for me. And also I want to tell you, Amie, I'm a Canadian girl.
Oh, are you?
I am born and raised in Winnipeg and now in BC.
Well,
So
it's wonderful talking with you. And
yeah,
I just love, even though you didn't purchase from me, I'll be honest with you,
yeah.
I'm just glad you purchased. It
Well,
that
I didn't see you till after I purchased from
yeah,
Christoph.
I mean, irregardless,
Yeah,
right? I've
yeah,
had so many people that purchased from their friends, but really purchased because they watched one of my videos, and I love that.
yeah,
That's okay with me. I'm good with that, right?
yeah,
Because this is a movement.
yeah,
It's up to all of us to make people aware of what's going on in here. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So
that's
I thank you for your time and I'll let the next person talk.
absolutely,
I don't want to take up.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you and everything that the content you're giving us. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll be doing the
Alright.
training on Monday night, you guys, inside the community as well. I think we're going to work on some mindset, I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, John.
Greetings, everyone.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm excellent as always. Thank you for
As
asking.
always.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm just about to launch my very first, what do you call it? Post, I suppose.
Okay.
I've been in the sort of in the community 3 months,
Uh-huh.
listening and learning and trying to get forward a little bit.
Sure.
Struggling with the technicals of it. So I'm interested, Amie. You said you don't bother with scripts. You
No.
you you go from the heart, which is great.
Mhm.
And do you and Darrell, just to pick up on something you said in one of your, you said use captions, use captions. Do you use captions now, Amie, in your stuff?
Yeah, I do sometimes, sometimes not. I mean, depends if I'm in a hurry and I just post, you know. If I take up 5 minutes extra, I will add the captions. Um, and part of the captions, the biggest thing is you want the algorithm to pick up the text in
Right,
there, right? And that'll help you to get pushed out more, right? So
right.
it is a good thing. But also, people tend to watch these videos while they're working or doing other things. So if their volume isn't up, they can still read the words that you're saying. So it's kind of dual, you know.
So,
Uh,
Amie, Darrell, either of you, can you point in the direction of someone who I can perhaps have a one-to-one with, whether it be a Zoom or whatever, so I can go through the basic mechanics of how to edit something? Because that will help with my drafts going into posts. I've done quite a lot of drafts. I'm not too much of a problem there, and I'm literally going to post my first post tomorrow. So there's 36 of us here. You are my witnesses. I will do it, and I will go three a day, 6 days a week, Darrell. I will.
so
Yeah,
can I just ask you one thing?
yeah.
Do you feel like they have to be edited, or do you mean when you say edit, like adding text, adding closed caption?
Well, I've seen people like Wendy Nolan. She's
Of
dancing
course.
about in the camera and
Yeah,
hand movements,
yeah,
all this sort of stuff. I want to keep it nice and simple.
yeah.
I just want to say something and then on to the next one. That's what
And
I
that's
want.
why I ask it, because if you don't need to be all fancy, and I don't
No,
believe anybody does, in the
no,
very beginning, especially, most of
no,
those drafts, I don't even think you're going to need to edit, you
no.
know. But as far, Darrell can answer this for you. I mean, we coach people on everything. So, that's just an individual, whoever you feel can help you the best, then get a hold of
Yeah,
Darrell. He'll help you. But that's
yeah,
that's something that you guys would work out. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for that.
Uh-huh.
Well, blessings to you. One other thing, uh, I'm in my 70s now, and I'm looking at it and thinking, yeah, I'm sure I want to talk to people about um, retirement years,
Sure.
but I'm also a decade or so before that. I'm a parent of teenage children, and then before that, I was a newlywed, and so on. With 50 years this year is our will be wed. So there are different phases of my life, and I've got lots of life experience, and I'd like somehow to tap into that as well. But I don't want to screw up the algorithms by jumping from one thing to another. So
Well, you always have your main topic, right? You always have your main topic or pain point or struggle.
Yeah.
When you get into the storytelling part of it is when you can add stuff like that. You
But
know,
how can you tell a story in less than a minute? Obviously,
easy.
people perhaps will follow, but is there an area where you don't say do a 3 minute life story or something for the 1 minute
Yeah,
post that
well,
you do thereafter?
here's the deal. You're not telling your whole life story on one video,
No, no, of course.
right? So that cuts back a lot. Find your topic that you're going to speak about per video
Yeah,
and then just speak on that. I always suggest give a specific example, two
yeah,
to three sentences
yeah,
of that pain point or of that problem. That's just enough for them to connect with you. Then go to the next video and the next and the next.
good.
Yeah,
Bless you. Thank you for that.
you are so welcome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all you have
thank
to do, John. You're
Yeah.
never gonna, if I told you guys my whole welding story, it'd take at least 30 minutes, right? So
yeah,
you just,
yeah,
it's just you're just hitting like certain pain points, and they're going to be able to relate to those. And then when you get to talk about the program, you're going to pique their
yeah,
interest, and they're
sure.
going to want to know what it is what is this information, what is this program you're talking about, just off the pain points, because there's a connection there now. They know that they're experiencing what you're talking about, or they have, and they're trying to get rid of that, and they're looking for an answer, and we have the answer, which is the legacy.
Yeah.
So, um,
And and the lives that you talk about, doing the lives, how do you do the lives? Do you just go to camera and switch on, or
Well, I
how do you
got a
how do you
if you
post
inside
it
the
to
community.
TikTok?
Well, the live with your live, see, you have a depending on what your topic is, but you can also go into a little bit more depth as far as like your story. You can always add more because I do my lives for about an hour, so I'm able to really focus. Like I can share parts of my story, I can teach, I can educate and entertain sometime and a variety of things, but still get my point across as far as like in my lives, I'm always sharing with them the problem that can be solved. There's a problem that they're having that can be solved by the program, by the legacy program. And also in my community, I can't remember what day it was. It was a couple of weeks ago. I think I did a live as far as like how you want to how you want to set your live up, the structure of it, as far as like what you can say, what you need to ask your audience to keep them engaged, right? So that so that it can keep getting pushed out, things that you can say, questions you can ask, and that'll just help. People can start sharing your algorithm, and people start engaging, because the more people are engaging, the more the algorithm will start pushing it out, because you want engagement in your lives. Because if you don't, they're just going to fall off, right? A lot of them some of them going to fall off anyway. But you always have if it's engaging and the topic is enticing, right? There you'll keep a certain amount on, right? So it really just depends on. I think it has a lot to do with how many followers you got. That's why I'm always saying, guys, make sure you want to continue always trying to build your followers. But it's all I got a training in the community on as far as like how to structure the lives. But with your lives,
Yeah.
you're more. You can say more. You can go more if you want to share more about your story in depth. You can focus more on it, and then that's a connection with there. And then of course just continue to talk about whatever it is topic that you're talking about.
And this will take you time, John. I mean,
Yeah,
It takes time.
focus on these videos, getting these 3 a day, 3 a day, 3 a day, three
yeah,
a day. You'll get that comfort, and then you can build into going live. It's just
excellent,
little stepping
excellent.
stones. Yeah.
It sort of today feels a little bit like when I pitched back to my very first teaching practice as a 19-year-old, and I'm suddenly pitched, and there it's a Friday afternoon teaching them English in the classroom, and all of them are lined up, and then they sit down and they look at me, and they look at me again, and they look at me, and I'm thinking, it's me now. 19 years I've been in school, education, whatever, waiting for people to deliver lessons to me, just as you have been doing this last 3 months for me. And now it's my turn to stand up and
Yep.
deliver the message. And
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at. So, yeah, be interesting few weeks. It will.
Well, good luck to you.
Bless you.
You will enjoy it. I know you will.
And
All right,
thanks
guys.
for your
We'll do
time.
we'll do one more. I don't know if I don't think Viola's
We'll
had
do,
it.
because Viola already went, so we'll go
Okay.
with Macaulay. Macaulay. I'm
Cali.
getting better at her
Cali.
name.
Mukali?
Macaulay.
I thought it was Mukali.
Do you see the? There you go.
Cali.
Hi,
Mukali.
yes, you're getting better. That's Mwekali. Yes. Thank you, Amie. Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Sorry, I stepped out a bit. I missed a bit of, but at least recording. Somebody just popped in who had not told me they were coming in. So I had to, I think just something like what John was asking. I find myself not able to give my story so well. My story as much as I want to touch the pain points. So I have actually like two questions or two clarifications I want from you
Okay.
on my perfect customer. I
Okay.
feel I have like, I would want to address like two people, two perfect customers. I don't know if that's okay because I'm a single parent. So I want to talk to parents, mothers who are single, struggling with just like what Michelle says, going with the calculator to the supermarket.
Okay.
Then the other people are people who've lost their jobs, people who've lost a paycheck. I worked in the corporate space for over 22 years. Then 2.5 years ago, my contract expired and I decided not to renew my contract. I'm trained as a lawyer and an advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to do this full time. So to get into business. And I got into network marketing. After network marketing, I was struggling and I found that was not my space. I did not like the rejections. And I feel sometimes maybe it was maybe because I'd held a senior position. My last 10 years, I held a senior position in government. And I felt that could have been it for me. Not finding working network marketing, that was very hard.
Yeah.
Befriending people, the rejections, keeping on calling. So that's how I came across Legacy Builder program last year when I was struggling financially because my savings had dried up and the commission I was getting was small. So
Well,
now putting
I
that in
can
a
make this
video,
easy
I've not
for you.
mastered how to do that.
I can make it easy for you. You're going to
Yes,
talk about all of that.
please.
No, you will.
Yes.
You will talk about all of it. Okay. Just
Oh,
like
but
you
it will be a
know
long
about
video.
Darrell and you know about me and you know about
Mhm,
Michelle, right?
mhm,
You're going to
mhm,
talk about all of those things. It's just going to
mhm,
be a different content, right?
mhm,
One
mhm,
video may be talking about a struggle of being a single mom. One
mhm,
video may be how you struggled in the government job, let's say, right? But it all
mhm.
comes back to who you are. And those people are going to connect to you by whatever it is you're talking about in your video. So talk about it all.
I didn't struggle in government. Government, I was okay. Where I struggled was in network marketing.
No, I'm just saying in general, talk about
I
everything. It
see how
doesn't matter. Yeah.
putting the bits and pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just whatever it is.
And the loss of a paycheck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Just talk about it
Mm-hmm.
all of it, right? I really enjoyed working for the government, but whatever whatever, for whatever reason. I really enjoyed MLM, but right? So it's just part of your story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I hope that helps.
Yes. Yeah, it will. I'll try and do it in several videos in bits and pieces and see how that goes.
Sounds wonderful.
Because I think I forget to introduce. I sometimes find I've done like 4, 5, 6 videos or even 10, and I've not introduced myself or I've not said who it is. I forget to give my name, which I know like somebody like Darrell. I know Darrell in all his videos, he always at least says his name. So I think that's what I need to master. Always introduce myself in between my video.
Well, and like I was saying earlier, you can always
Mm-hmm.
reference yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
specifically your name
Mm-hmm.
every single time, but just
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
as a mom, as a
Oh,
former MLMer,
Mm-hmm.
as this, as that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you want them to know who you
Mm-hmm.
are doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean it just has to be your name, you know, but
Ah,
it's just
okay.
really
Mm-hmm.
about building that connection with them. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna grab
Mm-hmm.
onto.
Okay.
Yeah,
That I get. Yes, yes. Now that makes a lot of sense. Me referencing myself as a mom, as
yeah,
a as somebody who's done MLM or
yes,
worked in corporate space. Yes. Thank you very
absolutely.
much.
You are so
Thank you
welcome.
very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. We're gonna call it, we're gonna end it. We done took up 2 hours of Amy's time. But Amie, again, I just appreciate you for coming on, and
Always.
I really believe a lot of people got some good value because sometimes it's good to hear people's who used to who who were so that so that they can get an idea like, okay, this is what I'm gonna have to do if I
Yeah.
really want to be able to maximize what this business can offer me. And I know it works because she has set the standard. Like, believe it or not, Amie, you're the standard when it comes to people saying, I don't have much time, or
Yeah.
I'm raising 2 kids and I work 8 hours a day. Well, you were
Yeah.
doing all that and working 18 hours a day, and you were able to build a successful business. So I believe hard work pays off. I think the universe will reward you for your efforts. And everybody,
Amen
the
to
goal is
that.
just to get to the finish line, and it doesn't matter who gets there first or who gets there last. Freedom is the
No,
goal, right? And
I
so
agree.
again, appreciate you guys. I'm gonna stop this.